What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central. I'm the host here, Haize. Well, one of the three hosts. I'm holding it down for C-Dub and Bobby at your number one place for everything Chicago Bears related. On today's episode, we'll talk about an update to the roster cuts that the Chicago Bears didn't make yesterday. We also got how many reps the starters will play tomorrow against the Seahawks. And then lastly, we'll talk about an update being made to Soldier Field, fixing that grass. We're getting all that and more on today's Chicago Bears Central.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
All right, Bears fans. So we got an update. I dropped a video yesterday after the cut deadline happened, and I said that we'll probably get an update on it when I do the episode today. So we do now know the Bears have officially waived defensive end Carson Taylor, defensive back Michael Joseph, cornerback Jason Stanley, linebacker Javin White, tight end Ryan Johnson, and then linebacker Noah Dawkins. They also signed Corey Dublin, who's offensive lineman. He can play the tackle and the guard, and also defensive back John Alexander. And Doug Kramer was placed on the IR after suffering a season-ending injury. So that's where everything stands right now for the Chicago Bears. We knew that they were going to be making some roster cuts. They had to get that roster down to 85 at this point. There's several other checkpoints that they'll be checking in and having to make certain cuts throughout the rest of the offseason. And they get bigger and gradually bigger with the final one happening towards the end of this month, when I believe they have to take it down from 80 to 53. So we'll be seeing quite a bit of cuts from the Chicago Bears over the course of the next upcoming weeks, and that's what the preseason is for. That's what training camp is for. It's to have people in there, bring them in. You take a look at people, and then you see who projects to be able to give you enough and who doesn't, and then that's just what happens. Now, with the injury to Doug Kramer, unfortunately, it sucks that he got hurt. It sucks that he's placed on the IR, but again, they didn't cut him, they didn't waive him. There's still definitely a chance and likelihood that he will be back in a Chicago Bears uniform and still be given a chance. He was a rookie, so because of what that is, it kind of works out the way that it works out. But prayers up to Doug Kramer, and hopefully that he comes back, makes a speedy recovery, and can still come in and make an impact for the Chicago Bears at some time in the future. Now, moving on, we do have an update from Matt Eberflus as far as how much we will see the starters in this game. And so because it is it's going to be, again, another one of those short weeks for the Chicago Bears. Like I said, all three preseason games happen over the course of 14 days, so exactly 2 weeks. They have another short turnaround time from that one. So the starters from Matt Eberflus are going to be expected between 6 to 10 plays or a series or two. So that's the way that we're not going to see very much of the starters in the next game. Now, me, Bobby, and C-Dub, we all said that, hey, maybe we'll see more of them. We all know probably in that third game we're not going to see much of them. So we've maybe seen the primarily what we're going to see from the starters before the start of the season. Now, 6 to 10 plays is not a lot of plays. It's probably going to be a series, or like you said, or two. But with that being said, we'll take what we can from it. We do know that at least rookie Kyler Gordon is going to be playing. We haven't got an update on Cole Kmet, even though he has said that he does feel 100%. We don't know for sure if he's going to be allowed to play. And David Montgomery. Now, because those two are firmly planted in starters, you don't need to. There's nothing that the coaching staff is going to necessarily evaluate about those two players. I'd fully expect that they're going to. That they may not play at all in this. So, we'll see what happens and how that ends up working out. Are we going to see David Montgomery? Are we going to see Cole Kmet? It seems, but the biggest test, and I think the biggest thing that we're going to be looking for with the rest of the preseason is really when it comes down to that offensive line. We've had a couple of changes on the right side of that offensive line with Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borom both taking reps with the starters in yesterday's practice, and we'll see if that continues. If Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borom are going to be that right guard and right tackle respectively, Larry Borom kind of fell out of that starting lineup, so to get him to put back in, the fact that they both did get reps with that first team shows the door still much open for them. And while Tevin Jenkins, a lot was made early in the offseason, or early in training camp, I should say, in regards to him. He's seemingly all but come in, still been did and showed some things for the coaching staff, has upped his stock a lot, and is coming in now, maybe winning that right guard spot, which in a way is weird, but we know that Tevin Jenkins can be a versatile offensive lineman, and if he's going to come in and win that position and play well, shout out to him for doing that and doing the things that need to be done to improve his stock, improve his game, and hopefully help the Chicago Bears win football games. So let me know down below, what do you think about this change to the offensive line? Do you think Tevin Jenkins is going to be the right guard for the Chicago Bears now? Do you think that he has a chance, and will he win that starting position? Let me know what you guys think on that one down below. And also, I'm definitely excited to see Larry Borom in there as well. So, well, we'll see. Now, an update to something that me, Bobby, and C-Dub made some fun of after the game is that the Chicago Bears field conditions. The fact that the head of the Players Association had to get involved, had to talk about it, even said, hey, if this passed the standards, then we need to look at changing the standards. Something was going to be done. So it seems like right now that the Chicago Bears Soldier Field Stadium will be resodded before the season opener. And it looks like they have in this article, it does say that they resod the grass about 2 to 3 times over the course of the season, but it's been long planned according to this. They're going to resod Soldier Field with Bermuda grass at this point. And so hopefully things improve. And you don't want to have a field condition that is detrimental to players, whether it be your own players or players from outside. So the Bears coming in, doing the right thing, or it's not the Bears in this case because they don't own the stadium, but the grounds crew coming in, doing things well. We'll see. We'll see. Now, we do have also an update. Somebody who claims that they talked to Roquan Smith at Bears camp and said that told Mooney he was about to ball out this year, and I've been watching him since Tulane, and he signed my hat. Roquan was nice enough to talk to me for about 20 seconds, sign my hat, and it sure seems like he didn't want to be leaving Chicago. I'm taking this as a very good sign. So a lot of the conversation has been made. Does Roquan just want to get out of Chicago? Is that something that he just wants? Is that what it is? Or are we going to believe his words in that release that he came out that he loves this team and he wants to come back to the team? He just didn't see a path in which that happens. This whole drama, this whole Roquan Smith thing has turned into a debacle on both sides to a degree. And I put most of that on Roquan Smith, and especially when you look at this Saint guy who's been popping in and apparently making calls on Roquan Smith's behalf. Let's get all the bullshit out of the way. Let's hammer out this deal. Let's get it done. The start of the regular season is not too far off. Let's get all this shit behind us and sign a fucking deal. Let's get a deal done so that we can move on, that we can have a player who is still one of the top linebackers and just was named to one of the top 100 players in the league. And I get it. And I understand that, listen, is anybody irreplaceable nowadays in football? It may take some time. I'm not saying you're going to have somebody come in day one after you trade Roquan Smith and just going to be able to fill the shoes. But considering the Bears are far enough away from contending, if they have to move on, they have enough. They're trying to get draft assets. They have enough to build in the draft that, it kind of just gets added to the pile. But if you can keep a young player like Roquan Smith on a deal that is friendly and respected to what his value is in the NFL, you get that deal done. You keep him in the building. Like I said before, while, yes, I have turned from being on the side of Roquan Smith wholly to leaning more towards being on the side of the front office, I still want to see this deal get done. I still want to see Roquan Smith be a Chicago Bear. So with that being said, hopefully this happens. If he really does love Chicago in the way that he says, in the way that we hear and stuff like that, hopefully, just hopefully, they can work out a deal that's fair to both sides and that just gets things done. That's all we need to see. That's it. Just get the deal done. Sometimes you got to put the shit aside for both the front office and Roquan Smith. They're both going to have to maybe give up some things in this deal to get the deal done. And if not, let's get over it. Trade them. Like whatever it takes. At some point in time, you have to either cut your ties or just come to agreement. And hopefully we get to that sooner rather than later in this situation. So last update before we go ahead and close out the show, Drew Lock has COVID-19. He did test positive, so he will miss Thursday's game. Again, preseason game. It doesn't, in the long run, it doesn't matter. Would I've liked to see him in there and like to see what our defense can do to him, especially with that pass rush, with the front seven. Yes, I would have loved to see that. But I don't think at the end of the day, it's a lot about nothing. I mean, it's preseason. Let's get to that. Everybody's just really trying to get healthy to be healthy by the start of the season so that we can just enjoy football. And that's it. That's really what it comes down to. Now, before we go, I do want to talk about this. A lot's been made on what and how Justin Fields played. And I even see some of the comments that, well, the backup quarterback outplayed Fields. Let's be patient with Fields, right? Let's be patient with this offense. I do think that this offense is going to, as I've been saying, is going to take a long time to reach its final form, and it may not even reach the final form this season, but it may take a while for it to really click on all cylinders. And keep in mind, Justin Fields was missing a lot of his weapons that he's going to have at the start of the season. But the question here is his development, the release time. Like there's been some questions about that. Did he hold onto the ball a little bit too long? These are the type of things that I hope to see some improvements on in the limited rep he's going to get in the second preseason game. But overall, Justin Fields, this team believes in him. And everything that we continue to hear from him out of training camp is that his decision-making, everything has improved. His pocket presence, everything has improved. Now, that release time can be a little bit detrimental to him, especially when you have an offensive line that's still working through its things, right? They're still waiting to take shape. That release time is probably the biggest thing with Justin Fields that kind of caused me some concern in last game. But again, it's not anything that's huge. It's preseason. We know that this offense isn't fully in sync yet, and hopefully that continues to improve as we head towards the second preseason game. Now, a little bit update on scheduling. We will have a full episode today with me, C-Dub, and Bobby, as we do every Wednesday. Probably will be a live stream, so make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell notification so you can be notified when we go live. But that is it for today's episode of Chicago Bears Central. Unless there's any updates or anything crazy that happens over the course of the day, you won't see me again until tonight when we all go live. But thank you for being the best part of Chicago Bears Central. Make sure you follow us at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform. You can also send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, chicagobearscentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text and or voicemail, the number to do so, 773-270-2799, which we'll crack into those on our Friday mailbag episodes. And considering this Friday's episode is after a game on Thursday, I expect to hear from you guys very loudly. So make sure you guys show up and show out for that. But that is it for me for today. For C-Dub, for Bobby, I'm Haize. This is Chicago Bears Central. Make sure you guys bear down. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.